Breaking. Asia Wilson was just robbed. What was stolen, you may be wondering? Her sole claim to Defensive Player of the Year for this season. So if you missed it, the WNBA decided to do something that is unprecedented, something that has never been done before. They have a co-Defensive Player of the Year, awarded to both Asia Wilson from the Aces and Alana Smith from the Minnesota Lynx. So first, I want you to look at the stats here, okay? You can see the stats over here between the two women, and you can see that Asia clears Alana. Asia clears in these stats. Asia was second in the league in rebounds per game. She was top 10 in steals per game, and she led the league in blocks per game. Now, with that being said, the Minnesota Lynx were the number 1 defensive team in the league. Meanwhile, the Aces were the number 8 defensive team in the league. And you can see right down here that the judges who were voting for who should be Defensive Player of the Year felt that Alana and Asia were tied, henceforth why we have a co-Defensive Player of the Year. So for starters, I think if you're using defensive team rankings as a basis for who should get Defensive Player of the Year, then that is absolutely nonsense because the award is called Defensive Player of the Year, not Defensive Team of the Year. Like, just because you are on a really, really good defensive team does not mean that you are the best defensive player in the league. And then for 2, people want to say, oh, well, the stats don't tell the whole story, which is true, right? The stats don't tell the whole story. But let's not act like, for the most part, Asia wasn't doing what Alana was also doing. So when people are saying, oh, well, Alana was over here clogging up the paint, yeah, so is Asia. Oh, well, Alana was over here plugging in holes because of her elite high IQ, and that's just elite ball knowledge. Yeah, Asia was doing the same exact thing. Now, with that being said, I will say that Alana was doing some defensive things that Asia wasn't doing, right? I'll give her credit there, right? She was over here guarding more on the perimeter than Asia was, right? Different things like that. But for the most part, Asia was doing everything defensively that Alana was doing. So you're telling me that for the most part, Asia is doing everything that Alana is doing that the stats won't show. She has better stats. And with all of that, you're saying that she does not get the sole claim of Defensive Player of the Year? Like, make it make sense. I mean, look, am I glad that Asia still got Defensive Player of the Year? Absolutely, right? And I'm also happy for Alana, believe it or not, that she got Defensive Player of the Year. But just in my sole opinion, I think that Asia should have the sole title of being the Defensive Player of the Year for this season. What do you think?